Okay, it's 9:42. I just got out of a trade with SIVBQ, and this one worked out. Unfortunately, I didn't make too much money because I had to pay commissions. I traded this with Schwab, and Schwab is like, I don't know, I think it's like 8.95 in and outs. So I just went in once and got out once, and I traded this because it looked like it was going to turn around. And I've seen this happen before. I watched this first drop, and I like how there was at the time a lot of volume right here, and sometimes it doesn't really bounce after it has a lot of volume, and it tried to bounce. It just kind of traded back and forth, and then it sold off. And then once we were selling off right here, and we were in the 56s, and then it looks like there was a lot of more volume going on. I did take a buy, and I bought some at 941, which was right here at 57. I got in right here when it was transitioning, and yeah, the idea was for it to get to VWAP, although I just forgot this thing is not really VWAP. Let me see what VWAP is with a better program. If I typed it right, yeah. Okay, VWAP is actually, no, it's actually right. Yeah, it's right. It's 60 and a half. So that's pretty accurate, and that's the goal to sell into. But unfortunately, because this is on Schwab, I have to pay commissions every time I buy and sell, and also, not just that, but this is a cash account, so I didn't want to just wipe out my liquidity or anything like that. So yeah, the goal is to have sold at 60. I did sell very close at 942. Just wasn't feeling too good with the price action, but I did get a nice sell at 59.65. And yeah, it's getting to 60. I would ideally be selling there at 60, even though it could head much higher than this. In fact, I could draw like a trend line, right? And technically, I could still be long as it's above the line, which it is right now. But if it fails and breaks under it, it's going to really break under it, at least most cases, and just continue to sell off and be hard to get out. So I also have that into consideration. Yeah, I made 12 bucks, but I could have made a lot more money. I'm going to find out what the commissions was. Probably could have made, if it was like on Fidelity, could have made like 20 bucks or something like that. But I wiped out all the money on my Fidelity account because I needed that to pay taxes. So doesn't have anything right now, and I haven't really been trading OTCs lately anyway. So this was just the exception to the rule. Since it has broken the trend line and it hasn't really sold off, I want to see if maybe it will later, or if it's going to aggressively try to follow the trend line from the bottom. That's pretty much it for right now. There isn't really anything else that I'm interested in, but there's a lot of stuff that I have to look at, and I'll make an update later. It is 10:30 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be up on the day 12 bucks and 45 cents. It was actually up without commissions $26, but I did have to pay commissions with Schwab, and yeah, the setup worked out. I'm glad I traded it. I've traded so many morning panic bounce plays that I felt really prepared to take on this one, and even though this thing would have been a $54 risk level if it wouldn't have worked out. I felt comfortable with it, and in theory, I could have traded even more. But I'm happy with the position. I'm happy with the way I traded it, and God willing, in the future, I could be able to trade something like this with much more size. I think the most amount of shares I could have maybe have traded this without it being an issue with execution would have been 10,000 shares, and that would have been pretty nice. On top of the fact that it didn't just, do a little uptrend towards VWAP and fail. It did take a while, but it did get above VWAP and it got as high as 63.97, so almost 64. Let's see what a sell at 62 would have been with that full size in mind, which would have been a lot more, I think. Yeah, that would have been a bit more. That is totally something that could have been realistic. And yeah, even though it was a trade with Schwab, it went really well. I've seen a lot of these, and I traded it, and this one worked out, and that's pretty much all I can say. Unfortunately, I had a whole bunch of stuff show up, and I wasn't able to look at the stocks anymore. But this one looks like it was a nice uptrender after selling off. Not really too ideal for me because I don't like how it had a gap up, but I guess that brought in the FOMO and then, allowed it to work some more. This one is very weird. there were definitely stuff out there. I was just not able to trade anything besides SIVBQ in the morning, and that's all I have for today.